I'm Ben Golden. I am the incoming volunteer director of Solar on Lacrosse Schools. We're an all-volunteer organization. For those of you that are not familiar with us, my day job is I teach at UWL. So as any good teacher will tell you, I brought some visuals that we can take a look at as we chat about an update of what Solar on Lacrosse Schools has been working on over the last couple of years, and then heading into next year. So our mission is to educate, advocate, and fundraise to make solar a reality sooner for the school district of La Crosse. We very much believe that in one form or another, clean energy has to be the future for not just our school districts, but for all of us. And the goal of SOLS is to make that transition happen quicker. So I won't go through all of this, but just for folks who are not familiar with SOLS or with the idea of solar on schools, there's just a couple of things I wanted to mention. K-12 schools are about 43% of all office space nationwide and about 8% of all commercial buildings. So it's a fairly significant sector in terms of energy usage. Children can be one of our most vulnerable populations, particularly in regards to things like air quality. We know that when we improve air quality, we improve things like childhood asthma rates, and even test scores and academic performance. There are also educational benefits of having solar on our schools, not just those environmental benefits, but we can do applied lessons in science, math, social studies, sort of across the spectrum. Renewable energy touches on so many different areas. And it's also a potential job for students as they grow up. It's a large and growing sector. Hopefully that growth will even accelerate in the next few years with some of the changes that are coming down the line. And of course, there are economic benefits to schools, most of those being the long-term reduction in expenses. Our very first project, which we'll see a picture of in just a second, on Hamilton Elementary, saves the school district about $11,000 a year, which works out to about $400,000 over the of cost avoidance over the warranted life of the system, 25 years. Those that know solar know it could go on generating long past that, but that's sort of we use that warranted life. And our district in La Crosse spends about 1.5 million on energy annually. It is, and this is true for I think most school districts, it's the largest expense outside of personnel. So it really has that sort of triple bottom line benefit. This is a little graphic that we borrowed from the Midwest Renewable Energy Association. But I just wanted to draw your attention to this first one, which is that Wisconsin schools spend over 175 million annually on energy. And like I said, not just for La Crosse, but across the state and across the nation, it's generally the largest expense. So for all those reasons, we think that solar on La Crosse schools makes a lot of sense. So how have we been doing that? We're volunteer led. We meet monthly with a group of dedicated folks. We have a fiscal sponsor arrangement with the La Crosse Public Education Foundation. So if you were to donate to SOLS, that money goes right to the La Crosse Public Education Foundation. We run a website with a blog and a newsletter where we keep you up to date on the progress at getting clean energy onto and into our schools. Every year we select in partnership with the district a project or two or more, and we set a fundraising goal for those projects. And then we try to make sure that we are visible in the community, and we have action happening each quarter. And the final piece of that being advocating with the school district for the continued adoption of these things. So the fun part is looking at some of these projects. I like what Casey said at the beginning about giving folks a progress to look at and things to get excited about. And so hopefully these will be just a few things to get you excited about where we've been with SOLS and where we're going. Our very first thing, just sort of as a demonstration of the concept, was taking the sign at Summit Elementary, our environmental themed elementary school out on French Island, and making that sign solar powered. And so it's actually it could be an off-grid system. It is grid tied, but there's a battery and a solar panel. And so that sign, which is on day and night, has now been removed from the energy load of the building. We have, the sort of dual part of our mission is the educational part of our mission. So the second project that we worked on was purchasing a portable solar panel and battery pack for the district. This rotates through classes in the district so that teachers and students can get some experience with seeing energy be generated from the sun. They can take this outside and watch the numbers tick up on the battery and use it to power some things in the classroom. Our first large project, which was completed in June of 2021, was on Hamilton Elementary School. It was fully funded for the district through some generous private donations, utility incentives, and Solar on Schools grant from MREA and the Coolyard Foundation. It's been operational since August of that year. It's a 100 kilowatt DC system, and it produces about 20 to 25% of that building's energy. Then in December of 2021, we purchased some solar ovens to give to the school district and to use again for just a really excellent visual and something the kids can even taste. At some of our events, we've made some chips and cheese with these, marshmallows, as you can see in one of the pictures, to really get kids, especially young kids, to understand the power of the sun and sort of make it clear that transition from sunlight to energy in a different form. Then our sort of current big project, it says June of 22 on there, but like everything else, there were some supply chain issues with some of the solar inverters. So it will actually, hopefully, cross your fingers, be going live later this month. And that's on Northside Elementary and Cooley Montessori on the north side of La Crosse. This one as well is now fully funded through private donations, through grants, including one from the La Crosse Community Foundation and a national grant through the Solar Moonshot Project. It's a 130 kilowatt DC system, and if you're looking at the picture on the screen there, you might be saying to yourself, there's a whole lot of extra roof space that is not being used. And that's true, and that's actually a limitation based on the net metering limits that Xcel Energy sets. We could put more solar on that roof and offset even more of the building's electricity, but school districts have this interesting thing where they're not really using a lot of energy on Saturdays and Sundays and sometimes during the summer. So that sort of didn't make sense to go much larger than that. So it's a 130 kilowatt DC system. There's a little extra buffer there because the building will always be using some amount of energy. What's great about Northside is that it is heated and cooled using geothermal. So other than some cooking, it is pretty much entirely electrified. So then last thing real quick is what we're hoping to do in the next year and what we're getting excited about coming up in the next year. And the first of those is a potential outdoor solar classroom at Summit Elementary School. This would be a roughly 35 kilowatt system, and it would create an outdoor space for students where classes could be held, that they could use at recess times. The site that we've identified for it is in front of Summit Elementary, so it'd be a great place maybe for kids to wait while parents come to pick them up. And one of the things we're really excited about is that it'll be a highly visible location. Our other projects are mostly rooftop projects, with the exception of the sign out at Summit. This one will be a really visible, tangible one for members of the community to see and understand the generation that's happening. And so we are starting the fundraising process for this. We're looking for monetary donations, also in-kind donations. If folks know contractors or folks who could help us with the frame, the structure of the outdoor classroom, feel free to get in touch about that. And then our second project, we're undertaking two projects this year, will be on the roof of La Crosse Polytechnic, which is, if you're not familiar with Polytechnic, it is a new project-based school within the district, project-based alternative school, and it is downtown, sort of right across from the area where the farmers market is, right, kitty corner there. We're going to be putting a 30 kilowatt, we're fundraising for a 30 kilowatt DC system on that roof. And because it's a smaller building, that'll be just over a third of the building's electricity usage. And one of the things we're really excited about is Polytechnic is a project-based school. So we're going to get the students involved in the design of the system, in understanding the system, looking at the offsets. We'll have some of the folks from the solar installer come and talk with the students, and it'll just be a really excellent opportunity for them to see it on their own school, which we think is pretty cool. In terms of future goals, we're looking to advocate with the school district to create a formal climate action plan. We also want to work with the school district to explore some funding models that expand what is possible beyond private donations. Also thinking about potentially our ability to increase the size of the systems using battery storage or creating school-based microgrids. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, we meet every month. You can also connect with us with the information on this slide, which I can share as well. But we meet every month, and we're happy. We're a fully volunteer-led group, and so we're always excited to share what we're working on with anybody else who's also excited about it.
Ben, that is really cool stuff that's happening with Solar on the Cross schools, and in such a short time. I think that's one of the things that amazes me about Solar on the Cross schools is just the amount of time the quick amount of time that it's that this is all developed, right? I mean, it's just a matter of a couple of years, really, where it went from this idea to all of a sudden there's real tangible projects that are going up on schools and affecting kids and affecting the taxpayers in really good ways. So that's, to me, it's a really good reminder that we can get sort of downtrodden about maybe how slow it seems like some of this movement is happening, right, with responding to climate change. But really, change can happen extraordinarily fast. And it often does when we're talking about social movements in the United States. So this is just a great reminder that change can happen extremely fast and for the benefit of everyone. So thank you for the work that you're doing, and good luck as you move into that volunteer executive director position.
Thanks, and thanks for having us. And I'll say, just on your point, that so much of it is just about finding people who are excited about it, and then finding a project where the things come together. A school district that would like to save some money, donors and volunteers who are excited about this, the price of solar coming down, and wherever we can find those points where those things intersect in a positive way, that's when it can really start to kind of snowball in a good way.
Yep, exactly. And I think there's more good things coming when it comes to solar. So keep up the good fight, and thank you.